and then keep this thing pretty close to your face.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's so weird how you can hear yourself talk like that.
I know, it freaks you out. It helps because if you have more than one person, you can hear when the other person's talking over somebody. And then there's these.
What? Can you move that thing over here so I can play with it?
If you say something funny, I'll hit that one. Kennedy Orban.
So how is that picking that up?
I don't know. It's doing it all in there.
Oh.
And then I can connect my phone. I can connect my phone to it through Bluetooth and then like play music and stuff through it too.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's cool. Cool. Thanks for coming on. Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
It's my sister, everybody. One of two sisters. My younger sister.
Jack Warren's little sister.
What do you think we're going to talk about?
I don't know. I was like getting scared driving over here.
Why?
I don't know.
That's what everyone that always tells me when they tell like their significant other, their roommate, or their parents. Like, I'm going on Jack Orban's podcast. Like, the fuck are you going to talk about? Like, I don't know.
I was like, we're probably going to talk about Spain.
Yeah.
School. When I told Devin I was doing this, she was like, doesn't he talk about sports? I was like, no. And she was like, I thought it was like a sports podcast. And I was like, no.
No, very far from it.
I don't know.
Well, I've had thoughts about that, and like, cause that's what's difficult about this. It's not that it's difficult, but I see how it would be a lot easier just to have like a sports podcast or like one where you're talking about like news or like if it's keeping up with like a show or like celebrities or something, because then you always just have free shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Like if this is a football, it'd be hard if it's a football podcast because football is not going on right now. But if it's sports, just talk about whatever sports is going on.
But then you gotta like really know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which I don't, and I don't really care because I really don't care about football.
And I don't care about
Yeah, so we're obviously not going to talk about football.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you get people on here, like, you just get people talking.
Yeah.
And, like, you just find things to talk about.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about Spain and travel. There's a lot. I don't know.
Do you have, like, questions ready?
Not questions, just topics. Not even topics, just thoughts. And, like, I come up with questions from the thoughts or something. Or, like, if I think of a specific question, I'll write it down. Because there's, like, sometimes I'll see, I don't know, like, interviews or, like, communication techniques of, like, how you should ask questions. So I'll use, like, the same kind of, like, phrasing or structure for, like, a lot of questions, which gets kind of old, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm really interested to hear about psychology, for real.
Nice. I probably figured that was going to be one of the topics.
Psych in general. Well, obviously, I wanted to have, like, our whole family on, because I think it'd be cool to talk.
Yeah.
And that. And, like, you know, I talked to Joe about cars. I could talk to Mom about something. I talked about Dad about something. I talked to accountants about something. But when you sent me that paper, I was like, this is fascinating shit. That existential paper. Existentialism.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I sent that to you. Is this close enough to my face, or is it far?
Yeah. Keep it, like, within, like, a hand or two. Because if it gets out here, you can, like, tell that you can't hear me anymore.
I forgot I sent that to you. Yeah, that was for my theories class I was taking.
I guess we should start off by saying
Who am
who the hell you are.
What does she do?
Who's this fucking lady?
What the hell, Leon? What the hell, LeBron James?
So this is my younger sister, Kennedy, and you were getting your master's from Webster right now in child development?
Clinical mental health counseling.
Okay. And
but I just took a class that was developmental.
Oh, because that's what that child paper was, right?
Yeah.
We had to, like, create a person or something?
Yeah, to grow a human.
Antonio. So give, like, a 2-second spiel on what your master's is going to be.
Well, I'm going to get my master's in clinical mental health counseling.
Okay.
That's the long way. You just say it, master's in counseling. And then I'll eventually become a licensed professional counselor, which is essentially a therapist.
I was
LPC.
That's actually what I was typing. What was the difference between counseling, therapy, and what's the other one?
Counseling and therapy get, like, interchanged, in counseling can be pretty broad. Like, someone can be a counselor, but they can't be a therapist. Because anyone can be a counselor. Like, you can be, like,
Psychiatrist.
I'm a counselor, like, in whatever.
Because, like, we at CBC had counselors. But I wouldn't, like, but they would just, like, advise you on, like, what classes to take or what they thought you would be good at in college.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them a therapist.
Yeah. I mean, like, no hate to, like, counselors at all. Like,
right.
Everyone has their thing. But I guess the difference with therapists is you have that licensure. Because, like, a therapist can get your LPC, which is, like, the license. Mm-hmm. But then someone can also get their master's in social work and get their MCSW and still be a therapist.
And you said you're getting your LPC?
Mm-hmm.
Which would be giving your licensee to be a counselor.
Professional counselor.
And once you have that, like, is yours specifically geared towards children, or could you go and, like, switch at any point in time?
You could, like, switch, but during school, I'll do, like, practicum, and I'll have to pick, like, where I want to go and, like, who I want to work with.
Well, yeah.
So, like, that will kind of set the tone of what I'll do, but, I mean...
Like med school kind of a thing?
Yeah.
We have to pick a specialization?
But, like, I could switch it if I wanted to.
Okay. So, what, you're in year 2 of 4?
No. I just finished my, like, first year. I'll be coming up on my first year in August.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's felt longer than that.
Because I'm only part-time still.
That's right. I guess you did start last fall.
Yeah.
When did we move you? Oh, yeah, because you were at the other apartment. Wow.
Yeah. I decided, like, a month before school that I was going to go back.
What? What'd you just say?
I don't even know. What did I even just say?
You decided a month before school that you're going to go back?
I decided like a month before the semester started.
You were going to do it.
That's probably pretty dramatic, but like still, it was like last summer. I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then it all happened.
And what was your undergrad?
Psychology.
Did you...
My bachelor's in psychology.
What was it through, and why did you study psychology? Did you have a class in high school or something?
Yeah, it was my psych class senior year, actually.
Really? What about it?
I remember we had to like choose like some sort of like I don't remember. It was like a project, and I remember I really liked doing the research on the project, and me and my friend had to go to an AA meeting together. Mm-hmm. Like that was part of the thing. Like we chose like addiction, like alcoholism or something.
Did you go to an AA meeting?
Yeah, it was actually around here. There's like a place around here. Oh. Every time I drive by it, I'm like, I went to an AA meeting there. But yeah, senior year of high school. Just that, I don't even remember what the specific class was, but it was a psychology class.
It might have just been like Psych 1000 or something.
Yeah, probably the most basic thing.
I didn't have a psych class until I took Psych 1000 at Mizzou, and I don't think I took it until like my junior year because it was an elective. And someone said it was an easy elective, so I took it, whatever. But after I took it and while I was taking it, I found it really interesting, and I think that it should be. Even starting in, like, high school, whenever you start taking, I guess, like, your junior year when, like, real classes start, like your college credit classes, if you will, I think psych should be, like, a requirement at some level because of, let alone everything that I learned, but everything that you, like, learn about other people. Because it really teaches you how to, like, I don't know, I guess talk to, but, like, really understand where people are coming from. Which is why, like, in sales, like, with me in sales, everything that I listen to about how to be better at sales and blah, 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 that boring shit, it's all psychology.
Yeah.
And understanding how people are talking, what they're saying, where they're coming from, why they're saying it that way, etc.
That's, like, one of the main reasons why I wanted to study it, too, is just, like, understanding people. Mm-hmm. Like, I've always been interested in just psychology. Like, psychology is everywhere and in everything. Like, the reason we do things.
Right.
And, like, it's all because of how we operate and how we grew up, but yeah.
So you're happy you did it?
What?
You're happy you went that route?
Yeah.
Define psychology. Scientific study of the human mind and its functions, especially those affecting behavior in a given context. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and, like, undergrad, like, those classes were still pretty basic but really good. And, like, now getting my master's, like, I'm only a year in and still part-time, but I feel like I'm starting to, like, know things. Like, I don't know, like, this stuff, it's just so crazy how things are and, like, how everything impacts us.
Your frontal lobe's finally developing?
Yeah, I just turned 25. Just had my first critical thought the other day.
You finally came to a conclusion?
Yeah. I finally came to a conclusion. But, yeah.
Like what? Like what do you mean? Like when you're understanding things, like when you hear about someone's background, or like when they freak out in public, or what?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, a lot of why we are the way we are right now is because of like our childhood. Mm-hmm. I need to stop saying like so much. I'm like la 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 la. So can you edit that out? But like it all goes back to our childhood. And my developmental class that I took last term, we talked a lot about that and childhood and stuff, because that's when I started writing that paper about the human. And there's this one theory, I think it's called like Bronfenbrenner's theory, and it essentially says that literally everything that surrounds you affects you developmentally, because like it's you, and then you have your family and your home life, and that affects you. And then you have everything outside of your family, like your parents' jobs, anything like extracurriculars, like stuff like that.
Like the whole nature versus nurture thing?
Yeah.
So that would be your nature. That'd be your nurture. Because it's everything that's being given to you. Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated. I'm very curious on the whole, especially now that we have a nephew, the whole child development thing. And exactly what you're saying is like child development as a whole, because like that's a thing with like serial killers and like child molesters. Is it whatever the thing is that happened to them as a kid, whether they saw a murder or whatever happened, it's like all of them have like the same thing that happened to them. Mm-hmm. For whichever bad thing that you pick, any bad group of people. Mm-hmm. Typically, they all had something bad happen to them, and typically it's the same thing or within the same wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And like that, and like you might not even remember it, but it'll fuck you up as a kid forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't like just like and seeing AJ, like I don't think, maybe I don't know, you don't know what a baby's thinking. But like at what age? Yeah, what the hell's he doing?
Hey, get that kid a social security number. Sorry, my intrusive thoughts went inside.
He already has a passport.
Yeah, I was pissed when it wasn't baby size. Why does a baby have a normal size passport?
Like that big, like the size of a credit card?
It should like fit in his little pocket. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Sorry, but no. I interrupted you, sorry.
And it's just like how they have to raise him and how they will be raising him. And how, like, it's, I don't know, because there could be something, such like a minuscule event in your life from when you were like 6 that probably no one else remembers. I probably don't remember it. Mom and Dad probably don't remember it. No one else probably remembers it. But for whatever reason, it had a huge effect on you. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious just to hear about, like, what you know about that as a whole, mm-hmm. and like child development and where it stems from, what it leads to, everything. Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of it, I mean, our brains are always developing during that time too. So I don't know how to describe.
Sorry.
Like your brain is developing at that time, and so anything that happens, I'm not describing this well. You're going to have to cut this out, like, for real. This is terrible. I'm trying to think. I don't remember, because I remember during that developmental class, like, it got super biology related.
Oh, really?
And, like, we were really talking about the brain, and, like, it got really, like, complex.
Like neurons and all that shit?
Yeah, and, like, I was like,
oh, God.
I'm not getting my PhD. I'm checking out. Sorry. I'll revisit it later. Anyways, I really don't know.
I wonder... And, like, what age it happens at. Because, like, actually, it's fucked up. I saw on the news today, there's a French doctor, surgeon, I think. Mm-hmm. He only got 20 years because French the French justice system is, I guess, more lenient or outdated. I don't know. He only got 20 years, but he admitted to 111 rapes and 189 sexual assaults.
Oh, my God.
All the average age, I don't remember the average age, but like all of them were under the age of 15.
Ew.
And he was like an abdominal surgeon or something like that. I don't know. People, you can look it up.
That's terrible.
Yeah, super fucked up. And I guess like throughout the past 15 years or past decade or something, he had like a ton of these accusations pop up. And he just like kept on basically switching hospitals.
Oh, my God.
And then finally they stacked up, and his trial was this week. He's only getting 20 years. And in the article, they were talking about how if he was in the United States, he'd have 2,000 years because of how, obviously, horrendous it is and how much it would stack up.
Oh, my gosh.
But he only gets 20 there. And in this article I was reading, they were, like, quoting all these victims that he talked to. And, like, they were, like, it said, like, you know, freaking Jane Doe commented on this and, like, her thoughts on his sentencing. And then, like, in parentheses, age 34. And I was like, God damn, that's crazy. This happened 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and she's still in her 30s. I don't know. I was thinking, I was like, I can't imagine how this, and like being, I mean, this is a dark tangent, but like being her and then seeing that many other people were affected in the same way. And I don't even know how you'd go and bring that up to them.
I don't know.
Fucked up. That dude ruined lives.
That is fucked up. So when you were asking me about the developmental thing, that we learned like so much in that class. Like there's so much to it. But another thing of developmental, like growing up and developing, are the different stages of development. So like each, like in newborn to however many months, that's one stage of development. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's the nature versus nurture, but I don't know. You're gonna have to fact check me on that. I don't remember because there's so much, but like that's the important time to like love them and like hold them, and like when they cry, like tend to them. Like
physically tend to them.
Because that will like make them feel like secure.
Like this would be like AJ right now.
Yeah, he's fine. He feels real secure right now, I bet. But then there's 8 different stages.
Do you know what they are?
Not off the top of my head, no.
But is it is the first stage like the first 6 months, or is the first like 2 years?
I think the first stage is like the first 6 months.
Wow.
Because they all have their different like theories that go along with them, and like reasonings behind why you do things. Like when you're in your like, I don't even know, like 10 to like 18. I should know this, but I don't remember. Sorry, everyone. At that age, you're pretty much doing things for other people. Like, you're doing things because you want to be, like, liked or, like, accepted by your peers. Yeah. So, like, if you think about, like, that's middle
puberty
school.
Stage, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to fit in.
You're just, like, you just want to fit in. Right. Because you're, like, in that stage of, like, I want everyone to like me and I want to fit in. But, yeah. But there's 8. There's definitely 8 different stages. I'm pretty sure right now I'm in my...
Who abused hundreds, sentenced to 20 years.
That's fucked up.
Joel Les Cornanot. What'd you say? 8 stages of child development. My throat has been awful this week.
Human
Erickson?
Yep.
Infancy, birth to 18 months, early childhood, 2 to 3 years, preschool, 3 to 5. Trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Stage 1, trust versus mistrust, infancy from birth to 18, autonomy versus shame and doubt, toddler years to 3, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, middle school years from 6 to 11, identity versus confusion, 12 to 18, intimacy versus isolation, 18 to 40. Wow.
Wow, this is really... Now I'm starting to remember everything from this class and getting flashbacks to my 30-page paper.
Generativity versus stagnation. Integrity versus despair. Jesus, that's dark. You remember this?
I do, and that last stage, that's like for older people. And it's interesting because right now I work with older people, like 65 plus. So whenever I talk to like an old pissed off person on the phone, I just think I'm like, oh, well, they're in this stage of life and they're probably pissed off because they have to go on Medicare and like they're getting old. So I don't know. Some things to think about.
I think this is fascinating. And I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing that I found it because, like, it's not that I would be a helicopter parent. But I feel like, I don't know, what do you think? Like, when it comes time for you to be a parent, do you think you'll be, like, overthinking these things?
Probably. I like to overthink. What are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
Probably.
The first stage of Erickson's theory of psychosocial development occurs between birth and 1 year of age. It is the most fundamental stage in life. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that. Because they are utterly dependent, developing a trust is based on the dependability and quality of the child's caregivers. At this point in development, the child is utterly dependent upon adult caregivers for everything they need to survive, including food, love, warmth. Huh. Wow. Before 1 year old, they will feel that they cannot trust or depend upon the adults in their life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
What we can absorb.
What do you remember from all this? Emotionally unavailable. Jesus.
Yeah, like all the like attachment styles and all that stuff all can start from
that young. Mm-hmm. Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have guessed, like, I don't know.
So if you were dropped as a baby, you probably have issues right now. I'm just kidding. Some people actually were dropped.
Do you know who Shane Gillis is?
Yeah.
Have you seen the video? Do you know who Lil Sass is?
No.
You know who Lil Sass is?
No, I don't.
Have you seen the picture of the guy pointing at himself like that? The meme?
No, but I'm surprised I don't because I usually know all these memes.
Lil Sasquatch?
Oh, wait, yeah. I know Lil Sasquatch. Yeah, Lil Sass. I don't know who you're talking about. Joe.
What the hell?
I don't know.
Well, he was on Shane Gillis' podcast, and he was saying something about how he has like an autoimmune deficiency or something like that. And as soon as he's done talking, Shane Gillis is like, "Were you homeschooled?" And he was like, "That's like the meanest thing you could ask me."
Well, probably affected him developmentally in some way.
I mean, that's true. Like, usually the homeschool kids are smarter, but they're more awkward for obvious reasons.
This was actually something I thought this may be something that we may talk about, and it's actually something I was thinking about on the way over here.
What?
It's just part of this like developmental
yeah.
and stuff like that. So specifically the one we were just talking about, like being in middle school and not wanting to be embarrassed, like wanting to fit in. For me, I don't know. I mean, you were smart and like did well in math, but I did not. Mm-hmm. And freaking, I'm not going to name drop the teacher, but
you can probably piece it together, people.
Yeah, anyone who went to Ascension, you'll probably know who I'm talking about. She would make us read our freaking test grades out in front of the whole class.
Oh my God. Really?
Yes.
That's fucked up.
So when she retired, I was like, good. Freaking good.
She doesn't deserve that job.
But like, it would be like me and like a handful of other people. We would have to go up there and be like, and like show our grade, even though everyone else knew we did bad.
Oh my God.
Like that was so embarrassing. Like thinking about that now, I'm like, I'm sure that
is terrible.
Contributed to like social anxiety and like, yeah.
Being up in front of people?
Teacher. I'm just kidding. Sorry. That's mean.
We didn't have to do that. That's crazy.
She would make us read our test grades out loud.
Wow. Especially in math, too. Most kids struggle in math. Math is hard.
I'm not going to say anymore. She would like get mad and put kids out in the hallway.
Put the desk out in the hallway. That always happened to me in English class. I always had to take all the English tests in the hallway because I could never finish them.
Why?
Because I didn't get it.
Oh.
I kept on failing them, so I'd have to go out in the hallway and retake it like 10 times.
Jack.
Yeah.
You're going to be smarter in the hallway.
That was going to solve the problem. That was a ridiculous idea.
Anyways, just a little tangent there. But yeah, even teachers can impact you. Like that impacted me.
For sure.
I'm like, that's embarrassing. Like now I'm embarrassed to like say, well, maybe I'm going to be wrong because this teacher made me feel like a ding dong.
Right.
So I'm not going to say anything.
You won't speak up.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't speak up for yourself.
Oh.
Whoa. I do think about that because again, like the weird times that like maybe you were embarrassed or Like, it was when, like, you burnt your hand on the stove or whatever. And, like, it's a time that did something to you that no one else in the world remembers. I remember so many, like, small, like, I couldn't tell you 95% of high school or middle school. But, like, the 5% of things I do remember are so, like, ingrained in my memory. Mm-hmm. And, like, I tell myself they don't affect me at all. And, like, I'm like, whatever. Like, at the same time, I'd be so curious to know what it actually did to me. Because I have no idea. It's just, I just learned from it. I just, like, adapted to it. It just made me who I am. I don't know anything about it.
Do you like an example?
I'm trying to think of one. I remember a lot of times in middle school, not being, like, the center of attention, but just because I was so big that, like, I was... I would have to do a lot of things for, like, the teacher.
Sorry.
And, like, you know, get something down or put something up or, like, can you move this for me? Just, like, that kind of shit. Because I was just bigger than everyone.
Like, you didn't have, like, a choice, really? Like,
yeah, it's just like, Jack, can you help me move this? And it wasn't like I was moving a fucking 200-pound desk. Mm-hmm. It was just because, obviously, I was the bigger kid. So I was like, yeah, Jack, you can move that. And, like, but you were doing this act of, I mean... not strength, but, like, this physical act in front of the whole classroom.
Yeah, and for someone, like, an authority.
Yeah, yeah. What are you going to do, say no at 12 years old?
You could, but then you'd probably get sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're failing the English test. And then mom or dad yell at you, and you lose the PS2 for the weekend.
DSI.
Yeah, I don't know. I think about it a lot. Because, again, the only psychology class I ever had was the one in college. And I had to go for, like, our, it wasn't, like, in replacement of tests, but you were required to go and take part of, like, what do they call, like, where they have, like, where they have, like, 50 people all take the same test.
ACT?
No, like,
God.
like, you read 50 words and you have to associate it with something. I like, not clinicals. Maybe a clinical trial? Like psychology students at Mizzou.
Oh, like a study?
Yes.
Like a group study?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, you'd have to do, like, a multiple question test.
Oh.
That wasn't a test, but it was just, like, testing your memory. Or based on these 10 images, like, what do you see over here? Or, like, what words you relate with these feelings, kind of a thing. We had to do a lot of those. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I was like, this is dumb. What could they possibly learn from this?
Analyzing you.
Yeah. They're looking at me through my computer and my camera and my computer.
Yeah, I remember those. They would always, like, get us to do them by paying us. Like,
really?
Get paid for doing it.
Oh, we know. We just had to do it for class.
Dang. Well, that reminded me, too, my senior year of college, I was in a psychology study lab. A psych lab. What? That's not even right either. Oh, my God. A research lab. And we were doing misophonia.
All right.
Presley? That's not Presley. He's cleaning his booty hole in front of everyone.
Yeah, he usually does it over here, so he gives us some dignity.
Research lab, we did a study on misophonia. And we would get people, when you get, like, pissed off when a pen is clicking or if someone's chewing too loud.
Oh.
So I'm like, Joe definitely has misophonia.
He can't stand the small noises?
I can't, for sure. Like, if I were to be a participant, I would go probably all the way through the whole thing.
Misophonia is a chronic condition that involves people having distressing emotional reactions to specific sound triggers. Literally meaning a hatred of sounds. You think Joe has that?
I don't know. I've, like, mentioned Joe 3 times. Sorry, Joe. Maybe. I mean, like, I feel like we all do. Like, do you not have any sounds that bother you? It's usually, like, a pen clicking or, like, chewing or the sound of a clock ticking. Papers. People flipping through papers.
I can't think of any.
Oh, well, then you don't have misophonia. But, yeah, that was something that we did.
I mean, there's always, like, in my car when I hear something rattles, that drives me fucking insane.
Yeah. I can count.
I don't mind like when the table's rattling or something. That's a lie. I fucking hate that. I just lied. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I have your paper pulled up.
Oh, wow. I forget. I don't even remember what I wrote.
I was glazing.
Glazed donut. What the hell, he brought?
What the hell?
I was with Joe the other day. I don't know why, but I guess it's just like whenever you're around your siblings, like you just get like freaking weird.
Goofy,
like,
yeah.
Just silly and like around Joe. I don't know. And do you ever just like let your intrusive thoughts win? Like
yeah,
just
all
like
the time.
shout out whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that around Joe, and he's like, well, "Stop! Why are you doing that?" And I was like, "Joe, just do it." But anyways, sorry.
What'd you do?
I don't remember.
The other day, this isn't the other day, it was like last fall or the summer. I have a bunch of foam and like mini wiffle ball golf balls that you use to practice because they only go like, if you hit as hard as you can, it might go like 30 yards. And I was using them in my backyard, and I keep one real golf ball in the bucket with all of them. So that I used the last golf ball in the last practice swing to see if I'm actually getting better. And I was like, I should just smoke this. And without even thinking about it, hit as hard as I could over the road.
Oh, did it like hit anyone?
I don't know where I went.
Piss missile.
Yeah, like 100 yards the other way.
Wait, never mind.
What?
What is a piss missile?
Piss missile? It's like when you hit a screamer in a sport.
Oh.
Like,
see, like I say things I don't even know what I'm talking about.
like when they throw a ball super hard or like they kick a soccer ball and it hits the post really hard. That's a piss missile.
I thought you were gonna say that like the ball like hit someone's car or something.
Oh. Well, that'd be a pisser too.
Anyways, what were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
You had the paper pulled up?
Yeah. I want to hear about that paper. Do you remember that paper?
Kinda.
Frankl?
Viktor Frankl, yeah. Oh yeah, that was the book about the camp.
Yeah.
Auschwitz.
Theories of counseling. Motivations of theory selection. I want to hear about this, and if you want to share, you don't have to share. I don't know what your comfort level is with the child development paper too.
Oh yeah, if I can remember.
Yeah,
that's very deep in my memories.
Well, I can tell you what. Which one?
The human development paper. Actually, I don't know. I'll see what I can remember.
The Frankl one. He was in a concentration camp. Was it Dachau? Which was it? Was it Auschwitz?
I think it was Auschwitz.
Or what was the big one?
It's the meaning of life. If you look that up, it'll tell you. Because like he was actually there and lived through it. Pretty sure it was Auschwitz.
I just spelled his name. Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl's Search for Meaning. Australian neurologist, psychologist, philosopher, and Holocaust survivor who founded logotherapy.
Why'd you just do that? Sorry.
Let's see. Oh, he knew Freud.
Yeah, they're all homies.
Wow. So this stuff's like really new then. Psychology and like all of it. Because those dudes are like godfathers of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, when even was that?
Let's see, after graduation from high school in 1923. All the concentration camps from like the 20s and 30s and probably into the 40s. I guess mostly the 30s.
Yeah, I guess it's all like fairly new.
Because for a while they would just like shove a nail in your nose. Was that lobotomy?
Well, that would go in your brain, but yeah,
Was
your
that
nose.
was that to make you not gay?
I don't know. What are you talking about? Oh, I need a lobotomy. A lobotomy is like where you get your brain operated on so you're normal.
Oh, yeah, I think they did those to try.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, I think they did those to gay people because they thought it would make them not gay, like electric shock therapy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sugar gay.
Like twins and stuff. Anyways, let's talk about this paper. Existentialism.
Oh, okay.
I wrote down a couple notes. He was in a concentration camp, and I want to know about the theories as a whole. The theory you chose was existentialism, right? Mm-hmm. The theory of existentialism. Mm-hmm. Once he realized the freedom within his own mind, he was able to escape the reality of the prison he was in. And
damn,
you wrote that.
Bars. I did.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And that was tied in with how experiences cannot be taken away, nor how we felt about the experiences can be taken away. So that was before. And then once he realized the freedom within his own mind, he was able to escape the reality of the prison he was in. So tell me about this paper. What do you remember?
Well, that was when I took my theories class. And again, there's like 8 different theories. And when you're actually like doing the work as a therapist, you are supposed to like pick one theory.
Oh.
But as I've been learning, like it's going to be impossible to do that.
Like that you base your work around?
Yeah.
Really?
And like how you work with people.
Oh.
But like it can be different for each person. So it's like, how are you supposed to pick one?
It's different for each person, as in each...
Like what they need.
Patient? Or
yeah.
each counselor or therapist? Client.
Yeah. But anyways, existentialism is like I think it's 8 theories again, like 1 out of the 8.
Wait, so you're saying that if I were to come to you as a client, you would try and pick one of these 8 to work that would work for me or work with me? Mm-hmm. Not you are picking one of these 8 to base your work around.
Yeah. Well, it also depends like what you're actually working with. Like, are you working with like suicidal clients? Are you working with people who are anxious?
I see.
Or because if you're working with people who are suicidal, then you would use existentialism because that like focuses on like life in itself and all that stuff. But I think in the moment when I chose that, I wanted to choose something different because everyone was choosing the same thing. And I was like, well, I'll choose this one because it's interesting and no one else is really doing it. So that's why I chose that one.
Do you remember the 8?
Existential,
8.
CBT.
What's CBT?
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Oh, I know that one. 8 theories of intelligence. 8 theories of... Shove him off. Psychology. Cognition. Nope. That ain't it. Whatever. Keep going.
I think family systems theory is one, which actually that's what I'm interested in learning about because that like looks at your whole family.
Oh.
And like how your whole family system affects you. CBT, family systems, existentialism. Don't remember them all.
Stupid. I thought it.
Like my professors don't see this.
What?
That I like don't know.
You should send it to him. This could be your thesis paper.
Oh my gosh.
I thought existentialism in the paper as a whole was interesting because I related it to Stoicism. And I don't want to say I study it, but I read a lot. I read some words sometimes. I don't read a lot. I read about Stoicism sometimes.
Okay. Wait, can you look up the 8 theories? This is going to piss me off now.
Yeah. 8 theories of what? Psychology?
Type in like 8 theories of like therapy practice. I don't even know if it's 8. I mean, there's a ton out there, but there's like a main list of
cognitive behavioral therapy, humanistic psychology, family therapy, behavior, Adlerian.
Oh, yeah.
Psychoanalysis.
Gestalt?
Yep.
Is that one of them? Let's freaking go. I remembered one.
Cognition and then rational emotive behavior.
Yeah.
This would be 9.
Oh.
Or the big 8, but it gave me 9. So one of those is wrong.
Should have brought my textbook.
Well, one of them just says behavior, so.
Well, yeah, that was with existentialism.
Which one did everyone pick?
CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which that's like the most.
This is a form of psychotherapy that aims to reduce symptoms of various mental health conditions, primarily depression, PTSD, and anxiety disorders. I see.
But yeah, existentialism was really philosophical.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like from your paper. I wish I could
Which-
just read people this paper. It'd take me too fucking long. I don't want to read.
Yeah, it's pretty long. Which I'm not really that into philosophy. Like, I took philosophy freshman year of college, and like it did not make any sense to me. It's like, what is this dude saying?
I never took philosophy. It's a lot of bullshit. It's a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
was
just.
a lot of bullshit.
It's a lot of mumbo jumbo.
But this book, it was actually a really good book, even though it was like pretty philosophical.
The Frankel book.
Yeah,
What's it called?
Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh yeah, that's. So let's give people. Existentialism. Existentialism. Existentialist philosophy encompasses a range of perspectives, but it shares certain underlying concepts. Among these, essential tenet of existentialism is that personal freedom, individual responsibility, and deliberate choice, that's what it was, all about the choice thing, and deliberate choice are essential to the pursuit of self-discovery and the determination of life's meaning. And then so I resonate a lot with Stoicism. It's a school, blah, 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 that, what's his name? Marcus Aurelius, and then, I forget the other guy. The Stoics believe that the universe operated according to reason, i.e. by a God which is immersed in nature itself. Just like it is what it is.
Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, and like if you're in control of it, be in control of it. If you can't be in control of it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, like if it's out of your control, you can't do anything about it.
So I actually kind of resonated with your paper, Connie.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Pretty sure you're the only person who read it, other than my professor.
Mom had some notes in here too.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if Connie did or not. Do you remember, like, what'd you learn from this paper? Do you remember? Did you appreciate learning about existentialism? Did you gain anything from it?
I'm trying to remember. I definitely learned something
You can
from
flick
it.
through it if you want.
But yeah, let me see what I wrote here real quick.
See all your... Because, like, I feel like... I mean, it's fucked up. Because, like, it just, like... That Brit gets frustrated with me about that all the time. Because, like, she'll stress about something, and, like, it could be real stress on her, but, like, in my mind, I'm like, who can't... Like, whatever. Like, do you do anything about it? She's like, no. And I'm like, well, then don't stress about it. She's like, that's not how I feel. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't think about it.
Yeah, I mean, we all just operate differently, and like what bothers us and stuff like that. Hold on, I can't
You can't read it.
I can't read and think at the same time. La 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 la.
You want some more?
Sure.
You got to sign this table, too. I always forget to have
Sure.
people sign the table.
Okay. I guess with existentialism is it talked a lot about like freedom of choice. Like you have a lot of choices you can make. Like you can choose how to react to things and choose what you say. Like you have a lot of control over a lot of things in your life. Which that's something that's like something that I work on personally, because like when I get like anxious or like worry about things, it's almost always things that are out of my control.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't control how other people react or what other people do,
What the weather's going to be.
but I can control what I do.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess another thing, now I remember this.
I mean, this was a while ago. This is probably well over a year ago.
This was like back in November. It was like
This was that semester. It feels like so much longer than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this really just talks about like what life is, like experiencing things and like doing things, like what brings you joy and like what you enjoy doing. Because if you're working with someone who's like depressed or suicidal, you would use this and be like, well, what have you done in the past that made you feel good or that you used to enjoy, and how could you incorporate that into your life now?
actively make the choice to do that.
Yeah.
Existentialism. Existential. I'm having an existential crisis.
Existential therapy aims to help the client become more present in all aspects of their life, as well as finding ways to live a more expansive life. Yeah.
Which I think everyone could use a little bit more of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in there. That's a lot. I forgot that all those papers are long. But yeah.
Existential. Relating to existence. Thanks. Concern with existence, especially human existence as viewed in the theories of existentialism. Affirming or implying the existence of a thing. So existential crisis. I'm critically thinking right now.
Are you experiencing a critical thought?
I am.
You're like...
My wheels are spinning.
You're like smoking over there. What are you critically thinking about?
Oh, piecing that all together. I don't know. I was thinking about it when I saw that. Once he realized the freedom within his own mind, he was able to escape the reality of the prison he was in. I think I have that, if that makes sense. Nice.
Just move. Oh my God. Anyways.
I didn't know what that was gonna be.
That's funny. You wait, what? You relate to that? Or what
Yeah. Because like sometimes I feel like I'm trapped within like not trapped.
Release me from my shackles. Sorry.
Mister.
Does this get like really loud? Like if you scream in here?
Yeah. I don't know. That was gonna be really loud in the car.
Sorry to anyone listening to this. You're gonna blow out their speakers.
We probably will.
Okay, sorry.
I forget what I was saying.
You feel trapped?
Not trapped, but like
Stuck?
Like sometimes you're like, is this? It could like be when you're stuck in traffic or even at work or like when you're bored. It's like, what did I do to put myself in the situation?
Oh yeah, that's
But then
existentialism.
I like really think about it. I'm like, I made every choice to put myself in this position.
Yeah.
So I can now make choices to not put myself in this position again. Because I've been in some positions where I'm like, how the fuck did I put myself here? Why am I in this right now? Why in the hell am I doing this? And I'm like, well, Jack, think about the past 6 months.
What have you been doing?
Have you done jack fucking shit? But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's existentialism. Like when you have an existential crisis, you're like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
How did I get here?
Yep. And that's why like I feel like stoicism, I'm not really good at regurgitating it. But I don't know, stoicism's helped me a lot because it's just like, do what you can do. That's all you can do. And like give it your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And it'll probably work out. So.
What's meant for you won't pass by you.
Yeah, there you go, Connie.
Bars.
Tell me about the other paper. Can you tell me about the other paper?
Antonio.
Is that your child?
That was my little boy, yeah.
So what was was this like a
That was a 32-page paper.
fuck me. I think oh my god.
I cried. I was like typing it. I was like, oh. I was like, when's this gonna end?
Did you write his death?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He died from a broken heart.
Oh my god.
Did you know that can actually happen?
Yeah.
That's when I like was for real crying because I was like actually sad.
I've heard about that. I've said that about a friend's dad who passed
Really?
after the friend passed, and because they were like best buddies, and I was like, I have a feeling they'd be. Yeah. So what was the prompt? What was it? This was a semester-long paper or project, I guess.
Well, she gave us the whole semester. She told us at the very beginning.
Right.
But of course, we all started like
Yeah.
pretty late. But the prompt was the 8 stages of life.
That we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I had to write.
You invent a human or something?
I had to write 4 pages per stage. So that's why it's 32 pages.
And then she tell you that, like, 3 of the 8 stages they have to have like a terrible experience or something?
Yeah. And like one of them you have to say like something that happened that changed them.
In a negative way or like if something negative had to happen?
Yeah, negative or positive.
Like if you wanted to, could this person just had the best life ever?
No. She was like, that actually no. She was like, there has to be some stuff in there.
Okay.
That's bad. But.
Antonio?
Yeah, I think that was his name.
You think? You cried over him.
Sorry, Antonio. Yeah, it was Antonio and I think Carmen. I don't remember, brother. Look, do you have the paper right there?
No.
Oh.
He didn't send me that one.
Oh.
It was Carmen.
I think his wife or his mom. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Antonio, he had a black dad and a white mom. And he grew up in Miami.
Latino.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. His dad was black and his mom was from Puerto Rico, but she moved to Miami. So he was like half black, half Latino.
I bet that was kind of fun. Coming up
was.
with like your own little story.
Yeah.
Did you just go stage by stage? Or did you like, I want this to happen?
I kind of went like stage by stage. But then you also had to talk about like their parents because like your parents can affect you developmentally and like what they're like before you're even born.
Right.
So like I had to talk about their lives. And like I had to do research on like Miami and all this stuff.
Jeez.
To think about like how this could affect Antonio when he was born.
The cultural and like the neighborhoods and demographics and
so like I wrote about
poverty, etc.
Yeah, there were like these riots in Miami in like the 80s, and Antonio's dad was a cop. I'm like talking about like he's a real person, and his dad like experienced these riots. What was that?
I don't know.
And yeah, it was a big like research paper, but it was really cool.
Walk us through Antonio's life. I'm curious to hear. Like I'm curious to hear the examples, or like what you were learning, what you're in the process of learning, and like these developmental stages, and like what happened to him and how it affected him.
I'm trying to remember each stage, but I know like.
Or just like in general, if you remember any of them.
Well, he was born like regularly at a hospital, like C-section. Mm-hmm. And then he had older siblings, which that affected his development, which your siblings impact your development a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because of like influence?
Yeah. Huh. I cannot remember what I wrote about this guy. Yeah, he had older siblings. Dude, I cannot remember. This is so bad. Why can I not remember this? You're putting me on the spot.
I can't remember anything that I wrote.
I have not read that paper since I wrote it. I don't even know if that's a lie. I did proofread it, but I proofread it once and then submitted it. I really cannot remember. All I know is Antonio died from a broken heart because his wife died from Alzheimer's.
Oh.
And then I found like a whole like research paper on dying from a broken heart, and he just had a heart attack, passed away.
Jeez.
R.I.P. Antonio.
That'll come back to you. That's sad.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and reread it. Actually, my laptop's upstairs, but I don't feel like going to get it.
I've heard that a lot with people in couples that make it to retirement homes together. Mm-hmm. That they'll die within like an hour, like a couple days of each other.
Yeah.
Because they've been married, 70 years or something like that, and they've never not been together. And then as soon as it happens, they just, let alone like the heartbreak and everything, but they're already so fragile as it is, mm-hmm. that it just wrecks them, literally.
Yeah.
That's horrible, Kennedy.
No, it was sad. I was like, oh. I really wish I could remember more about Antonio, but I really cannot. Sorry.
I can bring your laptop down if you want it.
Yeah, maybe. You would think I'd remember because it took so much of my time, but I guess I blocked it out. It was a lot.
Hopefully she sees this.
But yeah, school's been really good. That class, that class specifically, developmental, I mean, it's all good stuff. Like, the class I just took was, like, a social justice class. And, like, that was a class I went to the Buddhist temple.
Oh, yeah?
And the Hindu temple.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely been pushed outside my comfort zone. But it's good.
I took, man, what was that class? That's the thing. I can tell you the names of, like, 4 classes I took in college. But there was this...
Dad doesn't hear that.
Yeah, that's not bad. There was this one that I actually took with Dave. Man, I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember what it was, but it was like a social psychology class.
Actually, the name of it was Cultural and Social Foundations. That was the name of the class that I took.
Mine might have been cultural diversity. Now that I think about it, I don't think it was a psychology class though, but it was really interesting because like the whole basis of the class was, I guess, appreciating, so like understanding why, like how common some things are in people's lives that aren't common to you, and like how it affected them. And there's this like, as an example, there's this one like, not experiment, but like class participation thing we did, where we were outside and we all stood in a line, like all 30 of us or 40 of us, whatever. And we all like locked arms or held hands or something. And
is that CBC?
This was like Mizzou.
Oh.
And the professor would read XYZ about things that would be positively or negatively correlated for someone's life. Mm-hmm. And like if it was a positive thing, like if like take one step forward if you grew up in a house with 2 parents.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, take one step back if you grew up in a household with 1 parent. Take one step back if you have divorced parents. Take one step back if you've experienced loss in your life. Take one step forward if you don't have debt. Like all this just like kind of shit. Like, like really easy examples. And it was like we all started in the same line. We're all even, but after like 10 of these things, like they could be 5 positives and 5 negatives, and like one person might move once, someone might move all 5 times, all 10 times or whatever. But it showed you like how skewed this line was, and like how much these like little things can like literally set you back or propel you forward in life. And it was like you never have any idea of what some of these people experienced or where they're coming from or who they are. I thought it was in the same class. They had, I don't want to call them guest speakers, but it was like, literally, because one person was mute. But, like, these people that, I guess they might have been, like, almost like social workers, where they gave examples of, like, that kind of shit where people had experienced setbacks and, like, how they're helping them and how, like, we as a society can like help these people. And like one person that came in was in a wheelchair, and they like gave, like they explained how much of like engineering and like real estate development is affected by, what is that, the ADA?
Yeah, the Americans Disability Act.
Yeah.
There's another thing, it's called like universal design, and that's like something that all engineers and places are supposed to use.
Maybe that was it, yeah, with like ramps, and like if it has stairs, the ramp has to be within like X amount of yards of like the front door or whatever. And if it's over 2 stories, it like basically has to have an elevator.
Yeah.
All this stuff. And then one person that came in was, I don't remember if they were deaf and mute, but they were like an insane lip reader. And like across the room, like me to that fridge, they could read my lips perfectly.
That's crazy.
With like other people doing shit in the room. And they could say it to like where there's a break in the sentence.
They could be like a spy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And this person was in a wheelchair. It was crazy. Yeah. Strike 3.
Oh, Jesus.
But I found it fascinating. I don't remember what class it was. Damn, maybe Dave remembers. Dave, maybe you can text me, Dave. But
Yeah, that's like that class that I just took. It was a lot of that stuff too. Like one of the exercise that we did, I don't know if I should be sharing this, but I'm going to. She had us write on a piece of paper like our stereotypes for each group. Like she went through like write exactly what you think, like when I say like black people, white people, Asians. Mm-hmm. And we had to leave the paper blank and then like shuffle it around and then read it out loud to everyone.
Oh.
So that was interesting because almost everyone has the same stereotype.
Yeah.
Which is sad, and it all comes from media. And then we had to write, like, where did you get this from? Like, where did you learn this? And almost everything comes from, like, the media.
Right. I don't know, like, anyone's parents that are, like, that would ever force a, stereotype onto their kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any friends whose parents are like, don't hang out with those black kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's crazy.
Yeah. That class was crazy, to say the least. But it was good because it was like, those are kind of conversations that I've never had before. And
it's probably really eye-opening.
It was. And, like, especially, like, the project that I just did, like, we did the project on, like, accessibility and people who use wheelchairs and who are blind. Mm-hmm. And that was, like, that's just, like, those are things you don't think about.
No.
And then you see someone in a wheelchair, and it's, like, they have to literally go about every day thinking about how they're going to do the next thing. And if they can do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go there. Did you know that the things in the ground are called curb cuts?
No. Like on a sidewalk?
Yeah, like where you can like push a stroller.
Yeah.
It's called a curb cut.
I know that.
It's for, strollers and like wheelchairs and stuff.
That makes sense. I wonder, that's crazy.
But yeah, that's the other thing about that class too, is we had to, oh, thank you. Delivery.
Thank you. We were talking about our paper.
Yeah. Now I can look up Antonio. But yeah, another thing with that class is like it was supposed to get us ready for like working with diverse clients. Because like
all the backgrounds, so you're aware of everything.
All the backgrounds and even like different like ethnicities and like just all the different cultures have different values and beliefs. And so like what you think and what you say may not go with them because of what they believe. Like if their family beliefs are super like set in stone, like it's going to be hard to help them if they're like, well, I can't do that because my family thinks this way.
Sure.
Or like this is what we believe.
Sure.
Like I'm trying to think of an example.
My first thought was like Indians. Mm-hmm. They and like I don't know if it'd be Latin Americans or Southern American, like South Americans. But there's like it's very common for multiple generations to live in the same house.
Yeah.
It's like if you're telling someone like get away from their family or get away from like don't think about what the parents say or like just don't talk to the grandparents or something, it's probably physically impossible if everyone's in the same house.
Yeah. And those types of cultures too, like their values are like authority and like family.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's true.
Well, it can't really go against that. But
I didn't think about that. That's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it for real. Okay, let's see if I can find this.
Antonio!
Grow my own human. Hold up.
We're already at an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Everyone who's listening, I just booked my flights to Puerto Rico. I have all my tabs open still right here.
When was that? August?
Year.
That's gonna be awesome.
I know.
I was at the lake last weekend. I played a Bad Bunny song, and John made a comment. He's like, I don't ever listen to music like this. And like halfway through the song, he's like, I like it. Like, who is this? And I was like, it's Bad Bunny. He's like, who's that? And I started telling him, I was like, he's this Puerto Rican guy. My sister's actually seen him, but he's not coming to the United States. And John's like, oh, is he like new or something? And I was like, I'm not kidding. He might be the biggest like superstar on the planet.
Yeah.
And John was like, no way. And I'm like, I think he might be the biggest person on the planet right now.
Yeah.
He was Spotify's most streamed artist of the year. I don't remember if it was 21, 21, and 22 or 21, 22, and 23. But 3 years straight, he was the most streamed artist on Spotify.
Yeah. He's probably about to be that this year, too, because he just had his new album come out.
And I think it was last year or 2 years ago, he had some concert. Probably, it had to be in Puerto Rico. That's where he's from, right? Mm-hmm. Like 300,000 people went to it.
Shit.
It was something crazy.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know what it is. Like, I really don't know what it is, but I love him so much and like the music.
It's good shit.
I mean, like, half the time I don't really know what he's saying because like Puerto Rican dialect is so different than what I know. But.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is there a different kind of Spanish?
Yeah, there's like a lot. Like Puerto Rican, Spanish. Like the Spanish I learned growing up was like the Spanish they speak in Mexico.
What's the one that they use in Spain? Cantalone?
Like Catalan.
Yeah, you were saying it.
Catalan?
Yeah,
Cadillac.
yeah, that stuff. Cadillac.
Yeah, and like that's different. But yeah, anyways, I just had all my tabs open and I felt like sharing with the crowd. Oh wait, yes, now I remember. Okay, so did you know that smoking, like let's say if you smoke
Cigarettes?
If you smoke cigarettes and you got someone pregnant, like while still smoking, that can still like affect the baby and like their development.
Through the male sperm?
Yeah.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
And that affects Antonio because he ended up having really bad ADHD. I forgot about all this. Yeah. Because like it affected like his like hormones and all that stuff because it was in his dad's.
Because his dad was the cop was a smoker?
Yeah. And that was the whole thing is he dealt with ADHD his whole life. And I kept on going back to because his dad smoked. Because we talked about that a lot too, like in our book. And like how there's so many different things that can affect your baby's development. Like that's why they say like don't drink if you're pregnant. But also that's for the moms, but even for dads, like it's important for them to be healthy too. Mm-hmm. Because their health can affect the baby. Affect the baby.
Yeah, either one. Impact, effect. I've heard things about that, about how I don't know if it was like I don't know, whatever. That the woman's like literal pregnancy, let alone like the birth and like the development of the child, but the literal pregnancy, the 9 months, is heavily affected by the father's health. Mm-hmm. And what carries over from like physical health,
yeah,
is a huge impact of it. Which I was like, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, it has a big impact. Let's see. I don't know. This is so long. Is there anything like in particular you want to note from this?
No, I was just curious about it because when you said you were writing 32 papers and you're like coming up with that, because I remember you saying about how long it was. And then you just randomly text us about it, and then like all out of nowhere, you're like, "Guys, I'm crying over this paper." And I was like, "What the fuck could you possibly be writing about?"
I had to talk about like the chromosomes, like.
I was just kind of curious, like, because if you constructed this person's life, and like you picked the things that were gonna affect it, and like the outcomes of those effects, I'm curious to hear about things that could happen in someone's life and what could stem from it. Like exactly like the smoking thing. Mm-hmm. Just other instances that happen through Antonio's life.
Let me see what else here. Let's see.
Because I'm trying to think, I don't know. I was telling Britt that the other day, because I've never done therapy or counseling or anything. And obviously we all have, I guess, skeletons. Or whatever. Like, everyone could probably go to therapy. It'd probably be good for everybody.
Everyone can go to therapy.
I've never done it. I remember doing it one time. I don't know. I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
I never did it again. I feel like I'm pretty fine, but obviously I have things going on. And let alone like sorting out my own problems. I would love to know like stoicism and why I don't care about things. Like, I don't let many things affect me. And like why I do some things and why I don't do something. Like whatever example it is, I'd be fascinated for a professional to pick me apart.
Well, don't look at me yet. I don't know. That's my first day out here. I don't know. Probably, I mean, childhood stuff, things growing up. Like, there's like some saying. It's like it's like every need, like every behavior is driven by a need or something. That may be backwards. I don't know. But
every need is driven by a behavior, or every behavior is driven by a need. Every behavior is driven by a need feels right. Because you're doing something because you feel that you need that. I don't know, whatever. Keep talking about Antonio.
I don't know.
I don't want to talk about my feelings right now.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. I don't know.
I'm also curious to hear, I don't know, I think development's fascinating. Because, like, ever since I honestly first, like, thought about it / like, I remember one of the first times it crossing my mind was in, dude, what show was it? I think Dexter. Because he, like, sees, I think he sees, like, someone get killed when he's, like, young. Have you seen Dexter? He sees someone get killed when he's young, and then, like it fucks him up, obviously. And, like, his dad, or maybe it's his adopted dad or something, like, catches him killing, like, a squirrel, or, like, a kitten. And then, like, instead of his dad reprimanding him, like, teaches him how to, like, feel those feelings. And then, obviously, he turns into this, like, insane serial killer. Yeah, but when I first saw that, I was like, is that how that happens? Well, let alone, that's how that happens.
Like how people, like serial killers become...
Yeah. And, like, just development, yeah. Like, the smallest thing as a kid leads to monumental developments 20 years down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's all usually stuff in your childhood.
Right.
I wish I could, like, say, like, exactly why, but, like, I don't know why. But, like you just said, like, something that you see or something that impacts you that young. Like... I mean, this is kind of fucked up to say, but, like, if you know someone who's, like, kind of fucked up or just, like, kind of crazy, you're like, well, there's probably most likely something that happened to them in their childhood.
That's exactly what it's not that I'm, like, psychoanalyzing my friends, but, like, me and Britt talked about therapy, I don't know, a couple months ago or something. Because I brought this up. I was like, she knows that I haven't done therapy, but I was like, I feel like I should do therapy because I want to, like, learn. I want to learn about myself. I want to know why I am the way I am. And she told me about, like, examples of, like, how she sees things in her friends and stuff. And I was like, I wonder. And, like, I started, like, whenever I'm hanging out with my friends, like, how they talk or how they act or, like, whenever they do something in certain situations, or just, like, how they are. I'm like, I wonder what your parents did to make you this way versus what my parents did. Because, like, relatively, you and all your friends, and, like, me and all my friends, we had, within, like, 90% the same life. Like, grew up pretty affluent, went to good schools.
Yep. Blessed. Some would say blessed.
Yeah. Bless up.
Yeah.
But, like, exactly what you're saying, like, the smallest thing fucked them up in some way, which way or the other.
Yeah. Like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, what was his thing?
I don't know, but I was going to say probably something fucked up in his childhood.
I watched part of one of them. It started to make me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I couldn't finish that show.
With the guy from St. Louis.
The dude in American Horror Story?
Yeah. Evan something?
Yeah. Peter Evans? Evan Peters?
Evan Peters, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched most of that one, and then it got to a point where I was, like, actually uncomfortable, so I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before this?
Antonio, but I don't really want to talk about Antonio.
Okay, that's fair.
This is a 32-page paper, brother.
What's the difference between therapy and counseling and psychiatry? Is there a difference?
Psychiatry is like...
Is that who can give you pills?
Yeah, I have a psychiatrist. Shout out Dr. Paul Simon. He's pretty cool.
I'm going to write him a Google review.
Psychiatrists, yeah, they kind of analyze you and give you medicine. Therapists, I feel like, is like a long-term thing. Like, you go to therapy, like, usually for a couple months. But counseling is usually, like, something like if you go to, like, school counseling, like, you go see the school counselor.
Well, so you think...
Or, like, well, that's exactly what it was. Like, in high school, we would go, like, see the school counselor, and they would counsel us on how to, like, choose a college. And you'd see them, like, twice.
Right.
So counseling is usually just, like, a short-term thing.
So then is a psychiatrist seeing them one and done? Or is it like a doctor where you see them?
You should see them. A good psychiatrist you should see more than once. Because they should be checking in on you.
And then you're going to be a kid's counselor. Or are you going to be a kid's therapist?
I'm just going to... Well, I don't know, like, exactly who I'm going to... Well, see, that's just where it gets, like, interchanged. Because you can say, like, I'm going to counsel. Or who I'm going to... So it gets confusing, but I don't know. I think I want to work with adults. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with kids.
Any age range?
Well, adults is usually like 18 plus.
Like young adults?
I'd prefer to do young adults, like college kids, but
Right.
I don't want to work on a college campus.
Ah.
Because usually
Yeah,
it's I'd rather not do that.
Because I'm like for my own sake, I don't really care. People, if you're listening, I got problems.
We all do. Oh my god. Got probs.
And like sometimes I've like Googled therapists near me and I've Googled counselor near me.
Psychology.com.
And like whatever pops up, I'm like, this isn't helpful at all. And then when I Google counselor versus therapist, everything is like, it's the same thing. And then the people are like, you should never see a counselor if this is what you're experiencing. I'm like, none of you are really helping my problem right now. And then whenever I went to, what's the one that's an ad on a bunch of podcasts? BetterHelp.
Oh, yeah.
Everything on that just told me to do it through Zoom. And I was like, that's the last thing I want to do.
Like you'd rather do it in person?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely better through person.
But then also, all their prices were listed. And I was like, this is a lot of money to go and talk to someone that I might not like.
Yeah. I know. That's the tricky thing about therapy. Oh, what's it doing?
You chilling now?
That's the thing about therapy. Like, the biggest, that's what they say in, like, all of our classes. I'm going to charge people for this. The biggest thing is, like, the client and therapist relationship.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Like, if you don't feel like you can trust that person or, like, you don't feel safe around them, like, you're not going to address things.
Yeah, true.
Like, the girl that I was seeing, I haven't seen her in a while, but my therapist, shout out, Mary.
Homegirl?
She, like, her and I were so similar. Like, I felt, like, so comfortable around her.
Really?
Yeah, but then, like, when I think about, I had a therapist in college, too. But also, like, college was, like, college. Like, I'm not
Right.
getting drunk every weekend. But, anyways, she was, like, a 40-year-old, like, older lady. Like, when I think about that now, I'm like, it just wasn't the same.
So the lady here, homegirl, like, day one, did you know immediately? Or did you talk to, like, 6 of them?
Day one, I knew.
Really?
Yeah, because I sat down to start crying.
Cried in the club?
Yeah. And it's funny to think about now because when she first started, she like she was just getting started with her like licensure.
Oh, that's
like,
cool. So she's young.
She was like fresh out of grad school. I think I just broke this pen. Sorry.
That's okay. Probably another one.
And so like I was like one of her first people, I think, and so she really got a run for her hours.
Funny.
But yeah, you just kind of know if vibe or not.
But like you didn't. But that was just like a total gamble. She was the first person you talked to, and it actually happened to work.
Well, like I looked her up, like I like found her and like what she like specialized in, and then she called me, and then I was like, She seems cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So how would you tell me to go find a therapist?
Probably psychology.com.
Really?
That's where you can find like local people and whatever you like are.
You did break it.
Sorry.
Whatever.
Whatever you're like, if it's like anxiety or whatever, like you just type in. If you go to the website, it'll probably pop up. But yeah, you just type in exactly what you're looking for.
Say psychology.com?
Yeah. Or Psychology Today. Something, I don't know.
Psychology Today. That popped up. Health, help, happiness, and find a therapist. It's a magazine. Find a therapist. Oh my gosh. Ellisville.
Tito looks so flat. Is Tito gotten fat?
Dude, he's chunky. He's like 14 or 15 pounds. Okay, also, I get it that you'd want to be comfortable with the person. Do you think it matters or if it helps, again, like development, who these people are? If it's like Kennedy should see a female and Jack should see a male?
Yeah. That's a big thing, too.
Really? Actually? Mm-hmm. I should see a male?
Would you want to see a female? Like, would you feel, like, comfortable? Like,
I don't know, because that's like I don't want to say the stigma, but again, like a stereotype that like
well,
women,
that's the whole thing.
Women are usually more on like the emotional and like social, like psychological and like social side. Yeah. Whereas men are more of like.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like if it's emotional, I don't know. I feel like the emotional touch of a woman.
Yeah, but like, I mean, most therapists who are dudes are going to be pretty emotionally
in tune.
Like, there's a couple dudes in my class, and like anytime they talk, I'm like, damn.
Right.
There are some dudes out there who like think this way, but I mean, like for me, like I would not want to go. I wouldn't want to see a dude therapist.
I would figure. I don't know.
But I mean, like it's just like what you. I don't know. Like it's what you want, like what you feel comfortable with, and what helps you the most. But like that's the whole thing too. Like in this social class we just did. What are you looking at? Who's that lady over there in the chair?
Who is that in the corner? I gotta make sure that both red things. There's a red dot on the screen, and I gotta make sure this stays red. Oh. Because if it's not red, that means it's not recording.
Ooh.
And that's the last thing I want to happen.
Oh. Well, like another thing, like we were talking about, like is if like you don't get it, like if a black person is seeing a white therapist. Oh. It's usually like or flip flop, like you don't get it because you're not like that's just like the whole like stereotype thing. So, yeah. It's just the whole
interesting
whole thing and what your preferences are, and unfortunately stereotypes are a thing.
That was it's funny you say that. There's a really, I guess you call it cool, but interesting nice Ralph clip of Denzel Washington.
Is that bald guy?
Is he bald?
Anytime I see a bald person, I think, bald.
What the hell? Okay.
Sorry to anyone who's bald who's listening to this. You know this from SpongeBob?
No. What's that? This is when floats you down the river.
Move it, Grandma. Oh, my God. Anyways, bald people. Wait, what? Denzel Washington?
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, what is it? Is it Denzel? I think it's Denzel. He's in like it is Denzel. He's on like a press tour or something where he's sitting in one of those director chairs and like, you know, they're like doing the interviews with like the movie poster in the background. And they asked him about, I wish I could remember what movie it was, but they asked him about why it was so important that who played a certain part was black and that also like the director was black. Something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it exactly, but then he made the comment about, he was like, or his response was, he was like, you could like imagine how I feel or like imagine how this might play out, but a white man wouldn't know the smell of a hot comb on on like my young black hair as a kid, and I was like, yeah, no, I have no idea what that smells like. Mm-hmm. But he was like making the relation of like something so specific of that you like have to be black to understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
And like for this instance in this movie with like, I don't remember if it was a scene or what they were addressing. It was like, yeah, no, that's something only I could never experience that. I could never feel that. Which I thought that was a really cool way of portraying that.
That's a big thing for sure.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can find it here.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I learned from the class that I just took, that social class. Like, we all were, like, really, like, open and, like, vulnerable during that class. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it's like to be, like, not white. Mm-hmm. Not white, whatever. That just sounds stupid. But, I don't know, just, like, being, like, open like that and just being, like, I don't know is better than trying to act like you know things and, like, what it may be like to be a different race.
Right. I found it. Oh, is it not going to play? Oh, it's muted.
Explain the difference. Do you need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not color. It's culture.
This.
Explain the difference, because I think we're
Steven Spielberg did Schindler's List. Mm-hmm. Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas. Right. Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List. But they're cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference. So it's the culture.
You know about a hot comb? So now,
She don't know about no hot comb.
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting.
Wait, I knew that was who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of some other dude. I think I'm thinking of the dude from Fast and Furious, that huge, like, buff bald guy.
The Rock?
No.
Oh, Tyrese?
I'm thinking of that dude.
Tyrese
Denzel
Gibson?
Washington. Yes. No. But that's
Ludacris? He's not bald.
Luda. But yeah, that's another thing that the whole class is like talking about culture. Like, we all have different cultures and like where we come from and what we do. But yeah.
I mean, this is really all psychology. I don't really care. I want to hear about Spanish and how, I guess, like the learning Spanish and you studying abroad and the cultural thing and the differences and how people develop, as well as like how much, or like not even how much, how it would help or affect Angelo. For people who don't know, Angelo's our nephew.
Miss him.
And he's, what, 3 months old?
What is doing?
Probably sleeping. Probably just got on eating.
Yeah, freaking world traveler.
Yeah.
First class.
Yeah. He's 3 months old. What is he, 3 months old, 3.5 months old?
3 months. He's turned 3 months on the 18th.
And like if Caroline and Dominic were to teach him Spanish or Italian or anything, like when or what you know about like the best time to do that, how it would affect them, if it helps them, where it helps them, etc. Because I feel like Spanish has become a very big part of who you are.
Yeah, I guess it makes you more culturally competent.
Yeah.
Like, you are just more open to learning. And, I mean, this is so, like, basic, but, like, it broadens your horizons.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, like, it can sharpen your intellect. I mean, I know I can have my DBD sometime, my dumb bitch disorder. But, like, it is, like, really important to learn new things. Like, even if it's a language or, like, an instrument.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm like, I know, I learned Spanish, like, I know Spanish, but I wish I could learn the piano. And, like, I know Mom always tried to teach me, but I think it's because, like, maybe, like, my mom was trying to teach me piano, like, I would just get, like, annoyed. I'm like,
I've had that same thought.
that's my mom, like, she'd know, which
Leave
is,
me
like,
alone, yeah.
so stupid. But, like, now, I don't know if it'd be any easier because, like, I can already, I don't know. It's just learning new things.
I've heard that
That didn't make any sense.
there's something with it where who is it? Someone has, I think it's Bogey. His like niece or nephew, they were teaching their kid like 2 or 3 different languages.
Dang.
Yeah, and it was like an insane leap in every other subject too, because of how much this kid was taking in and absorbing, and like the processing that was going on, and like being able, because like you could ask the kid. I don't remember. He's Bulgarian. I don't remember if they were what language they were teaching this kid, but they could like ask him something in Spanish, and he would respond in English.
Oh, wow.
And this kid was like 4 or 5 years old.
Dang.
Or vice versa, they could do that. And like, I mean,
That's a smart kid.
yeah, exactly. But it's like second nature to the kid. Because they like every time they say hello to it, they say hola. Or whatever. They use every word every time.
I honestly don't know because learning a new language, like Spanish itself is so complex because there's so many different dialects. So I'm like, I don't even know. You're trying to teach a kid English, which English is already hard within itself. So I don't know. Parents are teaching their kids from a very young age. I guess you just like memorize it, like you just like see it and you say it. Like if you're using like cards, that's like, oh, this is a naranja, which is an orange, and it has a picture of an orange.
Oh, yeah, you're like sentence structure.
Like stuff like that. But if you're really if you're really young like that, I really don't know how they do it.
I wonder. I think it's fascinating. Because that's another thing is that we know some kids that got taught sign language, which is awesome, incredible. I think that's a very useful skill to have for a lot of reasons. But because of how easy the sign language was to the kids, like, you know, just like doing this instead of using words, that their language development is like way behind their peers at like first grade because they use their hands so much, and then they relied on their hands so much because it was easier. That they don't, like, it's not that they have speech impediments, but their reading and like sentence structure isn't quite there yet.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, which is crazy. Because, like, I don't know, like, you can read and stuff, but, like, again, like, 20 years down the road, like, how does that? I'm curious. Because these kids were taught it because that was, like, the thing for, like, that generation of these kids. That was what was not hot, but was, like, seen as being useful.
Yeah.
So, but now they know sign language. I don't know shit about sign language.
I don't either. But, I mean, once you learn it, like, I mean, I can use Spanish sometimes with work. And, like, I guess it's something that you kind of always have. Like, even if I'm not using it and I hear it, like, you kind of just pick it up. But, I mean, development. What the? He's laying on my thing.
Oh, yeah. He likes that. He usually lays across my keyboard.
Oh! He just batted at me. But, I don't know. I would have to maybe go back and look through my textbook or something of what learning like another language young does. Because I didn't learn Spanish. I mean, like at Ascension, we started doing that in like 7th grade.
Yeah, and even that was like half-ass. I remember in Ohio, it was an after-school thing.
Really? I was young.
Spanish and art. I don't remember the public school we went to, Tecumseh. But when Caroline, you probably never went to either one. How old were you when we moved here?
7.
So were you like first grade, second grade?
Yep.
Do you remember St. Bridget at all?
Not really, no.
I don't know what Tecumseh or whatever that middle school would have been. But at St. Bridget, for whatever reason, Maybe it's because of how small the school is or whatever. But, like, I don't know how their class structure was, but I was there for 4th grade. And for me and Caroline to have art class and Spanish, they were after-school, like, curriculars. And, like, the Spanish class had, like with me and Caroline in it, like 8 kids. And I don't know if it was, like, so mom and dad could pick us up later or if it was not a lot of people were taking it because it cost more money or something. I have no idea. But I found that fascinating because when we got to Ascension, everyone had Spanish.
Taking Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Would you teach your kid Spanish?
I don't know. Yeah.
Would you try and teach it Spanish?
I would try, yeah. Sometimes I don't know if I want kids. I might just have a dog. I might just have a dog forever. I don't know.
Dude, we don't have time for it.
You got Baker.
I mean, I guess you make time. You just adjust. That's just your life.
Yeah. But yeah, I would. It's important. I mean, like, it just makes you more, I feel like, rounded. Well-rounded. I don't know. I mean, not that I'm not, like, fluent in it, but, like, I could get by.
Do you think you'll be able to hold your own in Puerto Rico?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah, it's a different dialect. I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean it's a different dialect? Like, words are different or the sentence structure is different?
Like, their words are different. Like, the conjugations are different.
I would love to see an example of that in English. I don't know how it would be.
I don't know.
Because English is just kind of English. There aren't types of English. People just got to have accents.
Yeah. Like, senior year of college, I took Spanish linguistics. I don't even know English linguistics.
Yeah,
I was trying to
fuck
learn
that.
Spanish. But, yeah. It's just, like, the conjugations are different and the words are different. And they even, like, pronounce things differently. Like, in Spain.
Oh, I remember that.
In Spain, they pronounce things differently.
Valencia.
Yeah. Valencia with a lisp.
Ibiza.
Yeah. But
I had a follow-up question on that. I don't know. I don't know. You're probably excited, though.
hell yeah.
I think you'll pick it up pretty
Hell
quickly.
yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. HYB. I think you'll pick it up pretty quickly again.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's going to be crazy.
Because even I haven't taken a Spanish class in 12 years, 10 years, something like that. And even when I hear sentences, I can still piece it together.
Yeah. It all sounds kind of similar. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it just sounds, I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think the next language I would learn would be Italian, because Italian and Spanish are very similar.
That's what I remember hearing about a lot of things, is that once you learn XYZ language, you can learn. Gideon was telling me that, because his brother's a polyglot, something like that.
A polyglot?
Something like that, yeah.
Is he AI?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He knows more. I think by definition, he can speak more than like 4 languages.
What?
But like in reality, he can speak like 12. Yeah, something crazy.
Could you imagine having that much brain power?
Dude, the guy's like, Gideon is nuts. But then to hear about his brother he was well, first they're all of them are tri-citizens between the U.S., Mexico, and Israel.
Oh my gosh. Is Gideon the one who did the horseback riding thing?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they all know Hebrew, Spanish, and English. And then his brother did like international business and lived in like China for a year or two, so he learned Chinese. And then he's been in Russia for like 5 years or 6 years. So he's like fluent in Russia. But because of the business because of his job, he also knows like German, and then he knows like mostly French and all this other stuff because of his
gosh.
job.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like if you pick up one, like, it's kind of, it's kind of easier to pick up some other ones. Like
Well,
if you
yeah,
learn
that's
one
exactly
language-
like Spanish. Like once you know Spanish, you could. It probably wouldn't take you long to learn the other dialects. And there's something, I think it's Russian or Greek. I don't remember. There's one language that like the sentence structure and like literally writing it and like how it looks and how it's read is like extremely similar. I think it's Arabic. And so like once you know that, like you're 90% of the way there for like 6 other languages.
Dang.
Yeah. I don't remember what it is though.
This is like when I start to have an existential moment, like different languages
Yeah.
and like all the different ways they're written and like just the way the letters are written. Like I'm thinking of, is it Sanskrit?
Yeah.
Sanskrit? Like that, if you look at that writing, like who did that?
I don't know.
How they learn that?
I don't know.
It's just crazy.
Here you go. Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, and French are all descendants of Latin, which that makes sense. Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, Icelandic all descend from ancient Norse. And I think there's one that's like Arabic that has like 10 tied with it or something like that.
Do you remember taking Latin in 6th grade at Ascension?
Yeah, I fucking hated it.
I know all the Roman numerals because of that.
Yeah. I know people that don't know the Roman numerals, which I think is crazy.
Same. But I'm like, I know that because I took Latin.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything else really.
Which is a
Except
bummer, because now I think Latin's super interesting. And like Roman, one of my least favorite classes in college was Roman culture, but now I'm all about Roman culture.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
It's crazy what happens when your frontal lobe develops.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
like me right now with like fantasy stuff. Like what the frig? Game of Thrones, Harry Potter.
Oh, where are you on Game of Thrones?
This is giving Dobby a sock. Season 2.
Have you been watching it recently?
No, I'd take a break.
It's intense.
My
It's
dreams-
a lot, too.
My dreams were getting weird. It was a lot. But
Because every time you watch it, it's an hour, and on top of that being an hour, you have to be like,
I just like really pay
yeah,
attention.
you have to be locked in, like, let alone not having a phone. You got to be dialed in. Because there's so many names and families, and like, so-and-so's here with so-and-so there, and so-and-so's here, but they're coming from here to do this, and they're bringing this with them, and like, there's so much.
Yeah. But I like it.
It's sweet. It's really cool. I'm glad you're watching it.
I don't know, like, I guess it's because I started reading, airplane ears. I started reading, like, the fantasy books, and then I think I was at Mom's over the holidays, and she had, like, the whole set of Harry Potter.
Oh,
All the
yeah.
books. They're probably yours. I've never read Harry Potter.
I only read half
Harry
of them.
Potter. But I have them all. I was like, I'm going to read these. Oh, fucking not. So I just binge-watched all the movies during
You
Christmas
didn't
time.
read them?
No,
I thought you
on my
read 'em.
shelf. No.
Um,
Maybe someday, but I just binge-watched all the movies during Christmas time.
I watched. No, I didn't. I read the first one. I remember reading the first one when I was like, I don't know. I was in like 3rd grade or 4th grade or something, and I crushed the entire book. And we were driving down to spring break, wherever, Florida or something. And I finished the book on the car ride.
Dang.
And then when we got there, I made Mom go and buy the second one. And then I finished the second one on the trip. And when we got home, I got the third one. And then I finished the third one. And I remember starting the fourth one, but only got like 50 pages in, 100 pages in. Never finished it. Never tried to finish it. Never picked up any other ones. And then
Have you seen all the movies? Oh.
I've seen 1 through 4. And then I feel like I've seen 5. I don't think I've seen the 5th one. And then one of them has 2 parts.
The last one. 8, I think.
Do 2 of them have 2 parts? Well, it's definitely Hollows. Is that 8?
Yeah, I think it's the last one has 2 parts.
Yeah, I saw part 1. Never saw part 2.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I also don't think I ever saw 6.
God, Tito?
Yeah.
Fucker.
The books fucking rip. So the movies. Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, for sure I've never seen that. Deathly Hallows, and then Deathly Hallows. Yes, so I saw Deathly Hallows Part 1. I saw Deathly Hallows Part 1 in the movie theater for a midnight showing.
What the?
At the mall. I was dating Taylor Schneider. This is so crazy that I remember this. We saw it at the mall, at the AMC, and it was one of the only times I saw a midnight premiere of a movie. We had to buy our tickets like a week and a half ahead of time. And when we got there, there was like 600 people there.
Oh my gosh.
The line, like we were in line waiting into the theater for like an hour and a half.
That's crazy.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
I feel like people would still do that now. I mean, now they have, I don't know where it's, I don't know if it's at Universal, but now they have like the new Harry Potter world and like the How to Train Your Dragon place, like the Epic. Is it like Epic or something? Like there's like 6 different worlds. Like I would shit my pants if I went there.
Universal?
But is it at Universal? Like they like totally like amped everything up.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I've never been there. I've heard it's fucking crazy.
But I guess it's just because like we always went to Disney, so like I just never really had any interest in Harry, because that's all Universal stuff. But like now that like my frontal lobe has developed, I like actually enjoy these things now. And so now I'm like, now I want to go to Universal and do Harry Potter World.
They had all the, I know you're talking about. I just saw that How to Train Your Dragon freaking sweet. I was the same way. I never cared to go to Universal, but they had all the superhero shit, and apparently it's sweet. What'd you say? Epic?
I feel it's like the Epic Universe or something.
Epic Universe Harry Potter. What the freaking shit ass Epic Universe. I think this is what used to be 5 immersive worlds, 1 amazing theme park. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, it's part of Universal.
Shit.
Yeah. Celestial Park, Dark Universe, How to Train Your Dragon, Super Nintendo. That's what I keep saying. And
Mario World.
Yeah, and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I've heard the Wizarding World is sweet.
Yeah.
2 of her friends, well, one of her, she's our friend, Meredith. And then one of our other friends, wow, I feel like a dick, I don't remember her name. Marissa. Are super into Harry Potter. Super into Harry Potter.
Wow.
And they had a party at their apartment one time that was Harry Potter themed.
What the?
And I don't think this was the first time they did it. But they went all out. Hung like these, I don't know how she did it, but she like hung these little baby lights from like fishing wire. Mm-hmm. So there was like floating lights all over the apartment. And then had like other things of the apartment that were like staged as like magic. And it was and then the drink mixed was you picked like a Kool-Aid packet up. And they were all the same thing, but then when you dumped it in your cup, it's like was the picking hat, and that's whatever color it was your.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun!
House for the night, and then they went all out and dressed up and did like a performance and everything too.
That sounds fun. Is there butterbeer?
It was fun. No, we didn't have butterbeer. Joe brought up butterbeer the other day. Yeah, it was fun. Harry Potter, fucking crazy. Wasn't good, Kenny. I got nothing else. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
We're at an hour and 50 minutes.
Oh, shit. I don't think I got anything else.
You sure?
I guess the only other thing would be like yoga, but like.
What about it?
I don't know. Fucking love yoga. I don't really have anything else. Not for real.
Okay. Thanks for coming on.
Huh?
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Love you.
Love you too.
It was good. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.